Do you have a favorite topic and want to share your knowledge on the web? Well, you're not alone. You thought about blogging and other ways to produce great content, but somehow didn't succeed? You didn't have the time, didn't feel like a born writer? Looks like the old Web 2.0 mantra, content is king, has changed. Today, curation is king. And SCOOP.IT is a platform that helps you curate content about your favorite topic. Guillaume de Cougis founded SCOOP.IT. In this X Week special interview, he tells us more about his product. Guillaume, hi, thanks for being here with us. Curation is king. Doesn't this new mantra mean more of the same for us?
Yeah, I think what's happening here is that we're changing phases in the evolution of the web. Web 2.0 was about giving the tools to a lot of people about creating content. It was about letting people blog and creating blog articles, create videos with their cameras and now with their smartphones. So content creation was really UGC, user-generated content, was really the Web 2.0. And now the results of that is we have a lot of content. The web creates in one day what mankind used to be needing centuries to create before the web. So we're just changing phase, and what this results in is it highlights the need for curation, because there's certainly too much content that we can consume, and so we need people to help us curate and find signal in the noise, and that's really what's happening. It doesn't mean content is not important anymore. I think there's obviously always the need for more and more great content, but what this highlights is that because we have so much content, we need people to help us find the context and the meaning in that noise.
So you're saying SCOOP.IT works kind of like a filter for content that I feel relevant for me?
So actually, SCOOP.IT doesn't do that, but SCOOP.IT helps people be curators. And we think being a curator is different actually than a filter. A filter is kind of an on and off switch, but curation is also adding value and context to that. Is telling you why you should care about that particular piece of content. When I was a kid, there's this image that I liked. A curator is someone that is the equivalent of a teenager that suddenly discovers a great piece of music and want to reach out to a lot of people and say, wait, the world has to stop. You have to listen to that track. It's beautiful, it's catchy, it's whatever you want. So that's this emotion, and that's this expression that curation adds on top of filtering. So yes, SCOOP.IT is a platform that helps people do that, makes it easy for people to do that, and helps them find their voice as curators and building a community around that.
What's the difference to other platforms that focus on curating content? What's unique about SCOOP.IT?
So the big difference is, we're not just a curation platform, but we're putting that in a topic-centric model. So, our background when we wanted to, create SCOOP.IT, when we thought about what was missing in social media, we felt the problem with social media is it's built on top of social networking. And social networking is really, connecting people. The problem with that, it's great because we like to connect with other human beings, obviously, but it doesn't mean that because we're connected, we share the same interests. There will be an overlap of interests, but there will also be stuff that we don't really care about. And that's because social media is on top of social networking. That means there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of tweets from people I follow that I don't really care about. They're coming on top of tweets that I care about, so I won't stop following them, but it makes it very hard for me to filter the signal from the noise. So what we wanted also to build in SCOOP.IT is a topic-centric model where you're not following people on SCOOP.IT and you're not curating your entire life. You're creating a topic. You can create multiple topics, and people then have the choice to follow the topics they like. So for instance, I have a topic on the iPad and the media, and I have a topic on freeride skiing. People who like freeride skiing but don't like hearing about the iPad and the media, they can follow just the freeride skiing topic. And that's very unique to SCOOP.IT. That and other things that we can touch upon. But the vision for us is not just to bring curation, it's to be also a topic-centric content curation platform.
Creating multiple topics sounds, a bit complicated, or at least time-consuming to me.
No, I mean, most of our users actually start with one topic, and they choose the topic that they feel is the most relevant for them and that they have the most expertise upon. And again, because the platform makes it super simple, it's part of their daily routine. Think about it. You already consume content. So if there's a platform like SCOOP.IT that puts that content just a few clicks away from being published in a nice looking format on a specific topic, then it's easy. But it's not just easy, it's efficient. One of the things we looked at very early on when we wanted to create SCOOP.IT was, why would people follow me on Twitter? Why, they obviously, if you're not a celebrity, they won't care about what you had for lunch, or they won't care that you're at a super party or whatever, because they're strangers, they're not connected to you. But they will start to care if they can identify the topics that you're covering. What are you tweeting or publishing about? That's very important. And the fact that SCOOP.IT pages are very nicely organized in a magazine format that's specific on a topic, that makes it easy for people to follow you. So what we found is that our users not only find the platform is easy, but they find that they're getting an impact out of that. So they're getting more and more people to read their topics on SCOOP.IT. They're getting engagement, and that's what people are looking after on social networking today.
All right, clear benefits for me as a user, but what's in it for marketers?
Yeah, so the other way we're different from a lot of platforms out there is that our formats is great for, I would say, serious content, and I don't mean that in a way that the content that's curating on SCOOP.IT is better, but people share or consume that content mostly for professional reasons. So we're a platform where that a lot of people use for professional reasons. They use it during the day and rather than at night. They're using during the week rather than on weekends. And it's very different than platforms which are being used for entertainment reasons, to share pictures, to share products, or to share lolcats or stuff like that. We need entertainment, and that's great, but we're different in the sense that we're a content curation platform that's mostly used by professionals for serious content. Our format is very good for that. And the reason that it appeals to marketers, and not just big companies marketers, but we all have to market ourselves. When we want to be recruited, if we're small business owners, startups, entrepreneurs, we all need to create some kind of brand. The reason it's important is that content marketing is the new advertising. In the 50s, in the 60s, you sold your product by saying, my product is the best because of this and that. But people are fed up with that. Consumers became smarter, and not just in the B2C space, but also obviously in the B2B markets as well. We want to hear about the stories behind the brands. We want to hear about the markets. We want to hear about why it's important to buy a hybrid car, or why we should care about this and this service or solution. So content marketing is the idea of becoming interesting by talking about your market, talking about your trends, and producing content, publishing content that's interesting for your audience. So curation has a key role to play in that, because there's only, of course, so much great content you can produce yourself, but curation is something that makes content marketing a strategy accessible to small business owners, consultants, individuals, professionals, and that's where SCOOP.IT is meeting a lot of traction.
What did you change since the launch, and where are you heading with SCOOP.IT?
So we launched last November, and now we're having millions of unique users on the platform every month. So obviously we've had a fantastic ride. Interesting part is when we launched a private beta, we started with a very minimum viable product that was built in 3 weeks. We had previously technology on that, but we worked on that very rapidly. So there was a lot of features that we didn't have. And I think the transition we've been going through is starting with a very simple, very easy to use publishing tool, and evolving that into a community. Because we have this topic-centric model, the platform makes it easy now for you to meet other curators that share your interests, that can amplify your curation, that can redistribute it through rescoops, reshares, and that you can also suggest content to. So we're seeing people evolve from finding the product easy and interesting at the beginning to say, well, now I have a full community of curators that are working with me on SCOOP.IT, and that's obviously very powerful. So what you'll see us doing more in the future is, showcase the work of curators. We've introduced recently visual search, which is great. I encourage everyone to use it. You don't even need an account to actually try it. You type in, what you're interested in, and you're going to see this beautiful page with curated posts from great curators on that specific topic. And that's great. That's a great way to source content and also engage with those curators. So you'll see us do more on showcasing and making it easy for the curators' work to be discovered.
Your previous company, MusicWave, was a big success in Europe. You also launched Curation, which was big in France. Sounds like you have strong footholds on both sides of the Atlantic.
Yeah, I did grad school here back 15 years ago, which kind of dates me. And it's been an interesting ride. I decided, it was 95, and I decided to, so actually 17 years ago, I decided to go back to Europe when, Silicon Valley was booming here. So it was a mixed feeling decision. But the interesting part is I've been working in the mobile industry, which was probably, the equivalent of the Silicon Valley boom in Europe between 95 and probably 2005, before the iPhone kind of moved mobile back to the US. So yeah, I've had interesting perspectives, and I've also known some, great successes and failures as well. I mean, Curation, for instance, was a great success in some ways, but a failure in terms of monetization, and we decided to pivot away from it because we felt it was going to be hard for us to compete in that space and monetize it properly. But that helped us a lot. I think, what I like about Silicon Valley is that, failure in some ways is celebrated. So here in this environment, we've been able to share that story. And when I started coming here and relocate here 2 years ago, we told our story, and failure also helped us a lot to discover what was missing in social media. I come out with SCOOP.IT with the whole team, and I blogged about it when we launched SCOOP.IT. As SCOOP.IT is a successful product that was born out of a failed one. So it's been an interesting ride, yeah.
Thanks a lot, Guillaume, for this interview, and I hope to see you soon again here on Social Media Television. Stay tuned.
Do you have a question? What's next? Let's check in. Covering the story. Can you confirm that?